Greetings, folks. This is vk3sl, and welcome to our afternoon program. We're running a little bit late today. I had a few little projects I was involved in. Suddenly I realised it was 5 o'clock. Time to start. So we'll stand on by in about 20 minutes or so, I think. We'll, in the interim, hi there, Frank. Are you with us?
Yes. How are you?
Yeah, good. All good. Look, I'll just leave it for a few minutes because I've been caught unaware. I didn't even realise the time. It's 5 o'clock.
That's fine. I'm having a little sleep.
Okay, sure.
Much needed.
Okay, well, it sounds like a good idea. It's been a pretty muggy day.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, look, I'll be back in about 15, 20.
Take your time.
Yeah, no, I look forward to coming back to the helm, and in the interim we'll have a listen to a really beautiful piece of orchestral colour. This is the music of Respighi, and some neoclassical music from an Italian viewpoint, and we'll hear his...
Ancient airs and dances.
not the ancient airs, which are very neoclassical, but we'll hear the 3 Botticelli pictures for orchestra.
Oh, okay.
And these are just divine. It's the most beautiful music, I'm sure.
I've never heard this one.
Oh, it's well worth a listen. So, yeah, we'll get a taste on 160 and on UHF and on the stream. And people want to listen to it properly, they can tune in. But
It goes to show how educative our programs are.
well, it's a journey. I do a lot of listening, and I just strike upon these things, and I think, wow, what incredible music. And was reading about Respighi this week, so yeah, it's just a by chance thing. So we'll play this Respighi, and we'll be
JR standing by.
and VK3sl likewise back in about 20 minutes. So the music of Otto Respighi, his Botticelli Triptych, the Botticelli Pictures. It's a musical evocation of three famous Botticelli paintings: Spring, The Adoration of the Magi, and The Birth of Venus. And his orchestration is something to die for. He had a really remarkable understanding of orchestral colour, and he embodies those pictures. He really paints them in musically, and they're so exactly they perfectly fit.
So you've seen the pictures?
Yes, yes, and it's amazing. The Adoration of the Magi, the middle one, which of course is the Veni Veni Emmanuel, that wonderful ancient hymn, is just beautiful.
Oh yeah,
magnificent. It just draws you into the
very
story.
Evocative, isn't it?
I think it is. I think so. And excuse me. Yeah, he studied with Rimsky-Korsakov, and who was a marvelous orchestrator as well. And Respighi, everything he did was just so luminous, so full of texture and nuance and effervescence. And I'm becoming more and more drawn into that world of orchestral colour, and I think it's because Henry here is playing so much, and he's every day he comes up and says, "Stop! Listen to this, and he'll play me a 1 minute fragment from a Ravel work at the
wow.
or something. At the moment it's Ravel's Concerto for Left Hand, and there are just so many just magic moments for him, and he's just constantly sharing them with Kate and I. And, it draws me into this sort of way of thinking. And yes, and after that concert last night, I mean, talk about orchestral colour. It's just...
Well, that's just oozed with it. It was just everywhere, wasn't it?
It is. It's just full of textual change. And hearing it live is, it's something that it can never be captured in the recording, because there's multiple divisi in instrumental groups. So you get all these sort
you
of...
You need the space, don't you?
Yeah, you do. It all needs to breathe. Not through a compressor and a peak limiter, but at the same time, these may prompt people to listen and seek them out, because this last work, I've listened to it a couple of times this week, and I just think it's absolutely extraordinary. And he also wrote a work called Concerto Gregoriano, I think it's called. It's sort of based on Gregorian chant.
Oh, really?
And it's just really evocatively written, and with a deep understanding of orchestral colour. And Respighi was a scholar, as I understand it, and he was largely responsible for rediscovering the music of Scarlatti and Vivaldi in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, when Vivaldi was hardly heard of.
Exactly. So he was a part of a group of musicologists who were rediscovering the Baroque. So he sort of pays homage to the Baroque, and in a lot, not directly, doesn't copy it, but he evokes the meter and the sort of phrase structures of Baroque music. And
even with the ancient airs, where he's really just orchestrating existing tunes, he adds a lot of colour to them.
He does. I just love those works. And The Pines of Rome is just an incredible piece of music.
I don't really know The Pines. I've heard it, but haven't listened closely.
Oh, it's just so worth listening to. And again, Hen played that last year. In fact, he played it a few years ago at another music event which I was tutoring at, and I got sort of very direct insights because I was tutoring the strings, and I had the score and I was working with them. And again, it's just so layered and so multifaceted, and just the way that sinuous all the time these textures are transmuting and finding their embodiment. And it's that era where orchestral colour meant everything. It's it really I think is a very compelling experience. So there we go. The three Botticelli pictures.
Very good.
There are a number of recordings online. Just look them up. And Respighi is a composer who needs to be more on the radar, I think. Yay. Anyhow, so thanks for hanging in there. So it was I was just a bit distracted, really. I was doing other things, and it's just had a bit of headspace. So I got into a project with, I've got a box full of cartridges, phono carts that came from Henry Jamison's place.
Oh, right.
Yeah, in Union Road.
Did you know Henry?
Yeah, I did a bit. And
I have a very close friend did The lawyer knew Henry very well.
Oh, really? Great.
He's actually his solicitor as well.
I see. Okay, very good.
But I always liked Henry a lot as an announcer.
Yeah, he's very incredible knowledge.
Incredible knowledge, but not in a boastful sort of way.
Never, no, I agree. He was a remarkable individual and very just a wonderful, eccentric, beautiful person, really. And and look, at the end of the day, after he passed away, HRSA had a big garage sale in his shop. And this is quite a while ago, and I went along and I've got his Vitavox bitone speaker sitting here in front of me.
Oh, wonderful.
It used to be a real feature of his shop. It was always there in the middle. It's a very unusual speaker. And so I picked that up and quite a few bits and pieces, including a box full of phono carts. And I think they were mostly sort of rejects and stuff that had been traded in and what have you.
Yeah.
And but there are a few gems amongst them, including there was a couple of what look like ex-broadcast cartridges, including one ACOS, I think it is. It's a high-end ACOS. And I've always thought it had potential. So it's been on the list of things to do for a while. I always look for projects that might take under 2 hours because if I get too immersed,
I can get blocks of time.
It is hard to get blocks of time, and and sometimes if things just progress beyond that, they never get finished. They get sort of put on hold, and then it ends up being an unfulfilled thing. So I'm trying to triage and make projects completable. Well, this one's almost completed. In fact, it's completed to a point where I can actually demonstrate it, and it's bloody fantastic.
Wow.
You're really good. Excuse me. So, I'm pretty impressed with this, actually. I've got a number of old ELAC carts from that era, which were 3KZ, but the problem is the little stylus assemblies, unfortunately, the little rubber grommets completely disintegrate, and I have not been able to fix them. In fact, I'll have to talk to our Brains Trust, Mr. Fleming. He might have
Yes, he's very good on materials.
Oh, he certainly is. And he might have a way forward, because I've got these ELAC carts. Well, this is in the same vogue, but it's a slightly better, well, it's set up differently, and I don't think it hasn't got such tiny rubber parts, and I think it's going to hang in there for a bit longer. So anyhow, I was able
to have a restorative product that did something.
It did. See, that was good. That worked really well, but then they dried out again. And,
okay.
And then each time you apply it, it deteriorates more to the point where it just crumbles away.
You can't go any further.
Yeah, so it's a short-term measure, and I use that a lot. In the early days, I was using the ELAC carts all the time, and they had such body. They're terrific. But unfortunately, they've all completely or the rubber parts have. And look, there may be a way to fix them up, because they're tiny, but there may be a way.
Speaking of ACOS, I remember they were known for their crystal mics, weren't they?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I've seen
back in the 50s. They were in very common use.
That's it. So, look, they made a range of products, and I've looked them up online, the various cartridges they made for different applications.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so this is a variable reluctance cartridge, I think. It's very high output. I originally set it up with 5 meg resistors, because often the ceramic carts work best with some loading. And no, it didn't work at all. And I took them away, and then the thing just came alive. It was amazing.
Wow.
So, I'm just having a bit of difficulty mounting it, because on the Autofon arms, there's a few quirks, and it was quite a very, very fiddly job.
Yeah, they're really made for their own cartridges.
Yeah, well, they're made for their own head shells and their own assemblies. Yeah, that's right.
Right, head shell, really.
That's it. So, look, I'd be happy to breathe some life into this and use it. And
that's pretty interesting stuff to be playing with.
Yeah, it's good fun to play with. And they made them really well. So I'll tell you what. I'll start off with our since we've been talking about this, I can play out the test record I've been using. Is a Regal's Autophone 78 from the 30s. I'll just bring it up here to the mic. It's Bram Martin and his band. Now, Bram Martin was an English cellist with quite a pedigree. He had quite a successful career as a cellist, and then, like Campoli, in the 30s, there wasn't any work, so he started up a dance band, and his band was at the Hobbin restaurant in London. And so he worked there for a while, and I think he went to teaching after he finished that. But so Bram Martin was an interesting figure, but this is a record of him and his band, and it's a track called The Wedding of the Rose. So I'll slap it onto the Beyer turntable.
While you're doing that, I'll just say that I'm vk3jr and having a test with vk3sl.
Yes, test missions on 160 and also on UHF, also streaming online. So I think we are in gear. I'll just check other systems here. The Beyer's switched in. It's not going to do anything bad. It's very high output, this cartridge. But I've only got one.
Crystal, is it?
No, variable reluctance. I'm not sure exactly.
How does that work?
To be honest, I can't answer that question today.
Sorry.
I did know.
I've heard of them, but I don't know. I've never known how they work.
Yeah. I
always assumed they were some sort of magnetic.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they are a magnetic cartridge. Anyhow, I will do my due diligence and report back on that. Let's have a listen.
Thank you.
News is spreading, Dame Nature has arranged a wedding. Owls whisper in the trees, who can it be, who can it be, who can it be? Grasshoppers making preparations, they're fixing up the celebration, they're sending out the invitation. Soon the bluebells will be ringing, all the goblins will be singing soon. Wedding music starts to play, it's a wedding of the rose. Isn't this a lovely day for the wedding of the rose? With a smile upon her face, she's as lovely as a dream to see. And the bluebirds high up above sing of love to the lovely rose. Dancing with a hair, dance, 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 merry making echoes through the air. New bells ring, mingle with the sound as birds begin to sing. Isn't this a lovely day, the day for the rose to wear?
Bram Martin and his orchestra there from the mid-1930s, and testing out an old VR cartridge from the 50s, late 40s perhaps. And look, it is a moving magnet approach, and I was just doing a little bit of reading about the specific aspects to the design. Grado used them for a lot of their jukeboxes and things, and I just think they have a very involving sort of sound. I don't know. In here, they just have amazing bass and just really sort of vital. And some of that might be just subjective due to the higher output, of course, and the fact that they do naturally roll off. But it's a fixed magnet, and it's sort of at the end of a little armature magnetic iron cantilever thing. Yep. So anyhow, we'll watch this space and see if I can. It's still a bit of work to do. I haven't sort of aligned it properly yet, and it also I've only got one channel strapped. It's not. It needs to be summed to stereo, so that would affect the output as well. So anyhow, work in progress. An old ACOS VR cartridge, but the ELACs are the same, very similar, but they're very robust. They're quite large, and it's probably the poor man's Autophon, really.
Okay.
Something like that.
And they're heavy.
They're very heavy. Yes, they are. And
they're track heavy. Can you?
Well, yes, there'd be several grams. They're not as heavy as the early big moving magnet, massive horseshoe magnet coil with the steel needle type heads that they used.
All right.
As well. So yeah, it's certainly a development towards lighter pickups, but it's nothing like the Shaw and Stanton and pickups of the later generations. But yeah, there we go. So Bram Martin, I can play another 20s hit. I was going to play a 20s hit. I've got it queued up, and it's quite a provocative track. The name of it is "You Don't Like It Not Much." is the name of the song?
I think I know it, actually.
Yes, and it's I think I probably have played it before, but I did a random sort of reach on the shelf.
Title piques your interest?
Yes, it certainly does, and it's another 20s hit, and I'll play this on the other turntable, but we'll have our 20s hit now, and Jan Garber and the orchestra from 1926. Well, then we have a song with a very provocative title. You don't like it? Not much. Jen Garber and his band back in 1926.
Wasn't the one I'd heard.
Okay.
Speaking of interesting titles,
yeah,
I heard yesterday on the radio, tuning around,
yes.
It turned out this young woman singing a song, and I vaguely recognised the voice.
Yeah.
It didn't really sound like anyone I knew, but I listened, and it had an interesting lyric. It turned out to be called "Nobody Taught Me."
Oh.
And I thought, that sounds just a bit like Eartha Kitt, but much younger.
Okay.
And so I wait for the back announcement, and sure enough, it was Eartha.
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt, and then I went and looked for it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I found a version of it sung by Eartha Kitt, but it wasn't the one that they had on the radio. She was still young and hadn't really developed her sultry style.
Oh my goodness me!
But it was most interesting, and it's a pretty clear. It's one of those sort of clever Eartha Kitt type songs.
I'd love to hear it. Now, what's the name of the title again?
Nobody Taught Me.
Nobody Taught Me. Okay, I will do. I'll have a good look for it. I'll see if I can find an earlier version.
It's not well. It came up, but I could only find the one version.
Yeah.
Which was not the one the ABC had.
Okay.
The one they had sounded even more sort of much younger again.
Yeah. Okay, fascinating. Well,
I barely recognised as her just a couple of little idiosyncrasies that she had.
Okay.
That you recognise.
Sure. Thank you for that. I will do my diligence and have a look because I'd love to hear it.
It's a clever song as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what I'm doing my quick search on that, and I'll play the other side of this record because
That's good.
It's also a provocative one, and it's called "This Chicken Pickin' the Chicken." So these are sort of interesting, sort of boundary pushing, discs from the 20s, where they're looking at sort of social norms and trying to establish new insights, or not.
Yeah, the flappers and
that's right. Well, they're not really new insights, but I think
it's very old insights.
Very old insights, but to express them publicly is probably something a little bit out there.
Totally.
So well, I'll play this one with the variable reluctance ACOS cartridge. I don't know how it'll go. I don't know what the stylus width is, and this record is very worn. Someone's really, really enjoyed this record. So, but we'll play it anyhow, give it a go, and while doing that, I'll have a look for Eartha Kitt. Sounds really interesting. Frank, thank you.
dressing and the things they do keep me guessing. I'm telling you, there's a trick in picking a chicken today. Gray-haired granny and a sister Sue, I can't tell them apart, can you? Or the trick in picking a chicken today. You must be wise, you must be gifted to recognize a face that's twisted, 'cause the way they're dressing and the things they do Keep me guessing, I'm telling you, there's a trick in kicking a chicken today.
We got there in the end. It's a very well-loved record from the 20s, but it has every hallmark of that style, those nice syncopated sort of sidestepping quirks to it. And yes, the music of I think it was Nat Shulkert and his band. He was the he was the big cheese at.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did all of the house recordings for Victor back at that time. Now I've been doing my reading about Eartha, and I'm struggling to find it. I think she recorded it in 1960. But that would be fairly late. But there must be another one. So
yeah, it's an early version. It's barely recognisable as
How interesting! How interesting. Well, look, I can play Eartha. There's several here, but they all look like they're the same recording.
Yeah,
so,
I could only find the one.
Yeah, so
it's 1960, is it?
Well, they say this one is 1960.
Oh well, that's got to be right, mate.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. We'll play a bit of it anyhow and see if we can. Once I've heard it a bit.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it'd be good to always know. Can't get enough of
It's very Eartha Kitt in the lyrics.
Yeah, it sounds great. All right, well, here we go. Eartha Kitt, Nobody Taught Me, from, I think, about 1960, from what I can gather.
When I was a baby,
Is this the one?
I've been told I was walking
Yeah, that's the one I found on the net.
Yeah.
big souls, nobody taught me. I figured it out for myself. When you never get nowhere counting on somebody else. When I was in first grade, just a week, I gave the other kiddies a course in Greek. At sweet 16, I was busily employed, explaining the theories of Sigmund Freud. Nobody taught me, figured it out for myself. When I found out what I could mean to men, my education started all over again. It really doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, just a millionaire who loves you can make you feel secure. Nobody taught me, I figured it out for myself. Gambled in Las Vegas, broke the bank 3 times. I went to Hialeah, had the bookies bumming dimes. Nobody taught me, I figured it out for myself. Well, you never get nowhere counting on someone else. I was sued by J.P. Morgan for control of the bank. They awarded me the verdict. I had just myself to thank. The case was well conducted, as the judge could plainly see. They call it self-defense because the lawyer was me. Nobody taught me, I figured it out myself. When you never get nowhere counting on someone else. I said you never get nowhere counting on someone else. Tennis, anyone?
Excuse the stuttering there. We got there, and the kit.
Very obviously Eartha, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, it's interesting hearing us in that sort of big band style. I'm so used to hearing us sing sort of close mic, intimate songs.
This other recording didn't have that big crashy band. I mean, the band is really too loud on that recording.
Yeah, I think it is. It's very brash. It's very 60s.
It's not mixed properly, is it?
No, it's that style. But I can't find. Like, I've just gone through them all. There's an original mix here. Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same one.
Yeah,
they're all the same.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and you've obviously done that too. So I don't know, and they're all the same length as well. So that's the. Oh, what a pity!
It's a bit of a mystery.
It is a mystery. Well, I'll watch this space, and maybe one of our dedicated researchers can help flesh out the picture. It'd be good to know. I'd love to hear it. There's a great track here. I Want to Be Evil.
I love it. I want to be bad.
Yes, indeed. I was actually talking about the original I Want to Be Bad with Zelma O'Neill from 1929 with Olivia the other day, and she thought it was just such an important track for a woman to sing back then.
Hey, it was, I guess.
So what I can do it back to back. We can hear Eartha Kitt sing I Want to Be Evil.
I want all the things that I've never had.
Yes, that's right. And then I'll see if I can find the recording of Zelma O'Neill in 1929 sing I Want to Be Bad. So maybe we can do a back to back if I can find the track in time.
Sure.
Yeah, so
no pressure.
We'll see how we go. All right, let's start with Eartha.
I've posed for pictures with ivory soap. I've petted stray dogs and shied clit of dope. My smile is brilliant, my glance is tender, but I'm noted most for my unspoiled agenda. I've been made Miss Rheingold, though I never touch beer, and I'm the person to whom they say, you're sweet, my dear. The only etchings I've seen have been behind glass, and the closest I've been to a bar was at ballet class. Prim and proper, the girl who's never been kissed. But I'm tired of being pure and not chaste. Like something that's sick, that's level. I wanna go to the devil, I wanna be evil. I wanna spit tax, I wanna be evil and cheat at jacks. I wanna be wicked, I wanna tell lies. I wanna be mean and throw my pies. I want to wake up in the morning with that dark brown taste. I wanna see some dissipation in my face. I wanna be evil, I wanna be mad, but more than that, I wanna be bad. I wanna be evil and trump an ace, just to see my partner's face. I wanna be nasty, I wanna be cruel, I wanna be daring, I wanna shoot pool, and in the theater I want to change my seat, just so I can step on everybody's feet. I wanna be evil, I wanna hurt flies, I wanna sing songs like the guy who cries. I wanna be hard, I wanna drink booze, and whatever I've got, I am eager to lose. I wanna be evil, little evil me, just as mean and evil as I can be.
Oh, there we have Eartha Kitt in repose, lying on a tiger skin there.
What else?
And yes.
Everything she sings sounds like it was written for her.
Yeah, I know. She just owned her music. She just embodied it. She was incredible.
Great.
Yay. All right. We'll go and we'll jump back a few decades and hear Zelna O'Neill, who she was interesting too. She got fed up with Hollywood and went back to England and, I think she was originally from US, but she went to England and spent the rest of her life working on the stage. So she only made 1 or 2 films, including this one, which was a film about golf, which is really quite boring. It's a 2-part Technicolor film which happens to survive, one of the very few that does survive, but it's got this unbelievably racy track, this one, and where she just gets up and the whole orchestra catch fire, everything's burning, and she doses them all with a fire hose and recomposes herself. It's extraordinary, and the trumpets all catch fire, everything catches fire. It's just sort of remarkable. Anyhow, but she did record the song for Brunswick in 1929 at that time and when the film came out, and here it is, I Want to Be Bad, Zelna O'Neill.
To be or not to be, that is not the question. I decided long ago to be. With me, it's what to be. Make me some suggestion. Good or bad, which is the best for me? If you're after fun and laughter, this aggravates you. Some reformer says a warmer climate awaits you. If it's naughty to rouge your lips, shake your shoulders and twist your hips. Let a lady confess, I wanna be bad. If it's naughty to vamp the men, sleep each morning till after 10, then the answer is yes, I wanna be bad. This thing of being a good little goody is all very well. What can you do if you're loaded with plenty of health and vigor when you're learning what lips are for? If it's naughty to ask for more, let a lady confess, I wanna be bad. If it's naughty to rouge your lips, shake your shoulders and twist your hips, let a lady confess, I wanna be bad. If it's naughty to vamp the men, sleep each morning till after 10, then the answer is yes, I wanna be bad. I've made my mind up to wind up by having a barrel of fun. What do I care if they call me a son of a gun? Smith's daughter, if it's wrong to let someone take just a little teeny kiss by mistake, let a lady confess, I wanna be bad. While all around me they tell me how terribly naughty I am, nobody's caring and nobody's giving a damn. Self-credit, if it's wrong to let someone take a kiss or two just for friendship's sake, let a lady confess, I want to be bad.
Zelna O'Neill challenging social convention back in 1929.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Sign of the time.
It is. But you know what? In the film, it's so much better. She's really tame there. I'll play this just the vocal bit from the film because she's got so much more vivid. It just goes to show how performing live really can sort of be, I don't know, far more involving in some respects.
Yeah.
She tamed it down. I mean, she sang the lyrics, which are interesting, but have a listen to this. She's got so much more viv.
To be or not to be, that is not the question. decided long ago to be. With me, it's what to be. Make me some suggestion, good or bad, which is best for me. If you're after fun and laughter, this aggravates you. Some reformer says a warmer climate awaits you. If it's naughty to rouge your lips, shake your shoulders and twist your hips. Let a lady confess I wanna be bad. If it's naughty to vamp the men, sleep each morning till after 10, then the answer is yes, I wanna be bad. This thing of being a good little goody is all very well. What can you do if you're loaded with plenty of hell? Spend bigger when you're learning the lips are more. If it's naughty to ask for more, let a lady confess I wanna be bad. If it's naughty to rouge your lips, shake your shoulders and twist your hips, let a lady confess I wanna be bad. If it's naughty to vamp the men, sleep each morning till after 10, then the answer is yes, I wanna be bad.
And so it goes. She's having a tantrum on stage. She's going crazy.
Sounds a lot more like she meant it on the...
Oh, yeah. She's just got so much appeal. Yes, she's just got the vibe and, yeah, strong personality. And she's dressed up as a devil and she's looking very sort of provocative and going through the motions. But, look, it is interesting to look at sort of songs that sort of, looked at emancipation through an oblique lens, really through a sort of a very misogynistic lens, really, because, it was all very controlled.
Well, that's right, but it was a step forward.
It was a step forward. In the scheme of things, it's very interesting because it does reveal a controlled sort of emancipation until the Hays Code came and reined it all in. But there's another one from that time, many from that time that sort of strike a chord. Another one is with Ginger Rogers from the film Flying Down to Rio.
With Fred.
With Fred, the very first of the Fred and Ginger films. And in fact, they're not even the main features in the film. Dolores de Rio and I can't remember the other male lead. They've got a subordinate part, but she's only a teenager here. She's young, very young. She's about 19, I think. And she sings a song which is just really provocative. And I think this is just extraordinary. She didn't do anything quite like this again. This was very much a sort of a symptom of the times before the Hays Code came in 1 year later. And everything, you couldn't see a navel or everything was covered up until the 1960s. So
as long as that.
Yes, right until it was unbelievable. It's just restricted.
Through the Marilyn Monroe era.
Yeah, right up until, even the Marilyn Monroe, she was pretty, there was a certain amount of suggestion, but you couldn't see a navel, I don't think, until the 60s, whereas these 20s films in the early 30s, before the low-cut bikinis and everything. Yeah, unbelievable. So anyhow, we'll hear, Ginger Rogers is very provocatively dressed here as well with a see-through gown. You can see everything, really.
Yeah.
And and the name of the track is Music Makes Me.
For your pleasure is our first selection, Music Makes Me, with a complete vocalization by that charming, bubbling, effervescent little lady, Miss Honey Hale. Contact.
In me you see a sinner, and dancing is my crime. It seems a sin I've got to give in, syncopated time. It makes me lose my dignity. It makes me lose my poise. Some folks call it music. My folks call it noise. I like music, old and new. What music makes me do the things I never should do. Oh, I like music, sweet and blue. What music makes me do the things I never should do.
My self-control was something to brag about. Now it's a gag about town. The things I do are never forgiven, and just when I'm living them down, I hear music, then I'm through, 'cause music makes me do the things I never should do. I like music, I like it old, I like it new, but it makes me do the things I never should do. I like music, I like it sweet, I like it blue, but it makes me do the things I never should do. My self-control was something to brag about, now it's a gag about town. The things I do are never forgiven, and just when I'm living them down, I hear music, then I'm through, 'cause music makes me do the things I never should do when I hear music.
Oh, it finished very suddenly. I was just checking my emails, and I just heard a message from Mr. Fleming, who is looking up the original 1955 version of "Nobody Taught Me." So,
okay.
so it's listed.
Mr. Fleming.
Yeah, so it's listed here, but we just haven't found the track yet. So we'll sort of underscore that one, and. Of course, I mean, singers like Bessie Smith sang songs which had far more earthiness and real situation.
It was unsubtle.
Yes, that's right. And
hardly even was a double entendre, was it?
No, that's right. Empty Bed Blues is an amazing one. If I can find it. Empty Bed Blues. Empty Bed Blues. Bessie Smith, I think it was about 1928. We'll see if we can find a copy of that. Yeah, these tracks are extraordinary.
I've seen that everywhere, Empty Bed Blues. She was always asked to sing it.
Yeah.
Tune.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll hear this now, and if we can find a copy of the other to finish, we might be able to find the other version of the other kid song.
Doesn't matter. Good if we can anyway.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyhow, let's hear Bessie Smith, Empty Bed Blues.
And I told my gal and my bed get empty, make me feel awful mean and blue. My springs are getting rusty, sleeping singer like I do. Bought him a blanket, pillow for his head at night. Bought him a blanket, pillow for his head at night. Then I bought him a mattress so he could lay just right. He came home one evening with his spirit way up high. He came home one evening with his spirit way up high. What he had to give me made me wring my hands and cry. He gave me a lesson that I never had before. He gave me a lesson that I never had before. When he got through teaching me from my elbow down was sore. He bought my first cabbage and he made it awful hard. He bought my first cabbage and he made it awful hard. Then he put in the bacon, it overflowed the pot. When you get good loving, never go and spread the news. Gals will double cross you and leave you with them empty bed blues.
Social stories from the earth. It's so compelling, amazing stuff. Bessie Smith.
Yeah. Terrific.
Wow, yeah, that has such a emotional wrench. Oh, I feel her yearning, her sadness. There's the whole sort of. It's something so personal, and she could sing about anything, and it would have deep meaning.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a way that no codified Hollywood world could ever embody.
He kind of lived what she sang about.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's another track here that has popped up recently I'd love to sample, and I've heard it before, but it's a nice opportunity to play this. It's Send Me to Electric Chair from 1927.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another Bessie Smith classic, I suppose. And but incidentally, I should mention that was Charlie Green on the trombone on that last record.
Yeah, he let fly, didn't he?
Oh, didn't he? But he just complimented her so well.
Perfectly.
It was just a beautiful synergy. I could have just heard that blues singing, listened to that all night.
Yeah, no, it was just ideal for what she was doing.
Yeah. We'll have to have a Bessie Smith party and just play all these records.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and kick back.
Gave my brother-in-law one year for Christmas, I think it was a 3-album set of Bessie.
Right. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. It'd be
absolutely beautiful stuff.
It is in every way. Well, look, let's hear another of hers, and then we'll, when we've got a couple of other things lined up.
She had a very sad ending. She died in a car crash.
Yes, I think it's a little bit debated now as to exactly what occurred after the crash.
Interesting.
Yeah, because we did talk about this earlier, and it was brought to my attention that I think the folklore is that the hospital wouldn't take her.
Wouldn't take her, yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't think it was quite as straightforward as that. I think there was more to the picture, and she would have passed on anyhow.
In any event, okay.
Yeah, it was a catastrophic accident.
Right.
So, but anyhow, it's a horrible thing to contemplate.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we'll hear "Send Me to the Electric Chair," Bessie Smith from 1927. Someone's put this up with their original record, and I always like to hear cutting to the source if we can. And I'm vk3sl, and we're testing on 160 and UHF. Well, there we have it. It's really, I just love the weight in her voice. It's just sort of, it resonates on a very fundamental level.
Sure does.
Yeah, Bessie
Powerful
Smith.
stuff.
It certainly is. Bessie Smith and her Blue Boys from 1927. Yeah, I've noticed lately that there's been a historian, a guy online called Des Demona 202, DESDEMONA 202. He's a collector, probably in America, and he's been putting up all sorts of really interesting, very rare recordings about the early days of syncopated music. And he put up a Dawn of Recorded Blues, 1916 to 1920.
Righto.
With some of the very, very first recordings of the blues. And I mean, this is incredibly significant stuff. Someone's gone to the trouble of researching these recordings and bring them to the fore. So we can, I'll just go, see if I can find his list here. But included is the very first black group to record blues in 1917.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty special, really.
Very much.
Yeah, so it's interesting. He says here that although the blues music rapidly gained popularity in the 1910s, it was seldom recorded into the later half of that decade. And he goes on to say that these are some of the earliest recordings. But yes, tragically, black artists didn't get to record it in the very early days. It was mainly white musicians who did that. But
interesting, isn't it? When the black musicians started, they just did it so much better than the white musicians.
Yeah, absolutely. They did. Now, Wilbur Sweatman and his jazz band, JASS, recorded for Pathé.
That's how they used to spell jazz, wasn't it?
Yeah, in 1917. So this is the time that the original Dixieland Jazz Band were doing their thing, because they were, of course, white musicians, emulating the style. And this is more, Wilbur Sweatman was more of a vaudevillian type player. He sort of do things like play a clarinet, 3 clarinets in his mouth at the same time.
Yeah.
And do sort of weird trick playing and stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's often what things were reduced to if you wanted to
make a living, yeah.
That's right. And but he did make quite a few recordings. He made some for Emerson and some for Pathé in the early days, and he's considered the very first proto-jazz recordings from black musicians. So it's pretty significant, really.
Very much.
So we can play this, and apparently very young Duke Ellington and people like that went through his groups while they were cutting their teeth.
Yeah.
In the early days. I was just reading a little about him. So fascinating figure. So here we have a recording of his via this site, and make sure I've got this lined up because it's yes, Wilbur Sweatman, Joe Turner Blues, a recording made for Pathé in 1917. That was an incredibly significant historical recording there.
Yeah.
Wilbur Sweatman and his band back in 1917. An example of proto-jazz and a very early example of ragtime-inspired syncopated music played by a black musician. I think that we need to sort of, acknowledge some of these fascinating historical antecedents. Yeah, there's another one here by Louise, what's her name? Helen Louise and Frank Farrar. And apparently this is the first time guitar was used in blues. I don't think they're black musicians, but it's from the same period, 1917.
All right.
So use of guitar in singing the blues is something that's sort of synonymous with the genre, but it all started at least in recordings. I'm sure things were happening a long time earlier than this, but here we go, back to 1917. Well, fascinating record. That's an example of, Hawaiian-inspired blues, going back to the period of the First World War, 1917. Fascinating, though, to hear that, and that sort of intimate sound of, there's no singing, but just an instrumental track there.
Yeah.
Yeah, fascinating. So, okay. Mr. Fleming's still searching for that recording. Here we go. He says, no luck with Nobody Taught Me. He suggested we asked Mr. Brains Trust Jamie. We can certainly do that in time.
Yes, we will.
But incidentally, we do have a set for Jamie. John Fleming has very kindly tweaked up a wireless that hopefully will work at distance out at Croydon. So we'll see if we can get that out to Jamie.
That would be very much appreciated, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that's I'm sort of, I know that things don't necessarily work. My pathway out that way is not necessarily that good, but we can certainly give it a go.
Sure.
And judging from Mr. HK's, actually he heard me quite well this morning.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, but yes and no, but I couldn't.
I understand.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contention. Now here we go. Nobody Taught Me. Eartha Kitt with Joe Reisman and the orchestra. We've got a picture of the label. We've got the information about that particular record that you mentioned, but we just haven't found the disc itself.
The real article, yeah.
Yeah, so that's on the cards. All right, here we go. Here's another one. Right, what was this one? I'm not going to try and pronounce this, John. I'm sorry. It's an Eartha Kitt track from that period. It's a rarity by all accounts, and I've suddenly lost it. But we'll play that now and then. I've got a special one to finish up with.
Very good.
Something very special, and I'll cue that up. while we're getting organised here. So more Eartha Kitt from that mid-50s period on RCA Victor, and it's in French, but The Schön und Homme by Eartha Kitt, something of that kind. Let's have a listen.
Je cherche un homme, un Pierre au Paul, un Jacques au Tom. Peu m'importe comment il se nomme, s'il est un homme, un homme, un homme. Je n'exigue pas un Apollon qui s'abrillait dans les salons, ni un type fort comme Samson. Pour vous que j'ai un maître, un bon, il n'a pas besoin d'être un milliardaire, qu'il soit beau, non, ça m'est égal. Il n'a pas besoin d'être grand lumière, star du cinéma, ni prince royal. Je cherche un homme, qu'il s'appelle Pierre, au Paul, au Tom, pour vous qu'il donne son maximum. Je cherche un homme, un homme, un homme. Doesn't have to be prince or movie star, a Texas oil man or a French marquis. Doesn't have to be handsome as a picture, an ordinary guy's all right with me. Je cherche un homme, qu'il s'appelle Pierre, au Paul, au Tom, pour qu'il donne son maximum. Je cherche un homme, un homme, un homme. Je cherche un homme, un homme, un man.
Oh, how delightful was that? Thank you, John. Great suggestion. And from 1955, around about the same time as the record.
That was just superb, wasn't it?
It was just wonderful. She's just got it, doesn't she? She just
well, that was her in full flight. I mean, yeah.
It's before she became a bit more brash and sort of big bandy, and there's a different sort of character.
Even a touch brassy here.
Yes, that's right. And I mean, that fulfilled a particular aesthetic, but I love the intimate stuff. And
that's the best. That's when she is at her best.
Yeah, I think so. And that was just delightful, beautiful track. Thank you. All right. Well, we're almost. I've got something a little bit special, but I'm going to save it for one more record because I just had this sitting here to play as well. It's a Fats Waller track, and I was using this for test missions this afternoon, and oh God, it's beautiful. It's just wonderful. Fats he just had such a contagious enthusiasm for life, for women, for song, everything, and it's all revealed in this record. Have a listen. I'm going to drop the Akos cart in the groove, and using the buyer table, we are cooking with gas.
What? What's the matter with him? He's done found the gal he left behind him. Oh, mercy. Never be the same. Oh, sweet apples and buttermilk. Mercy. constantly before me. Perhaps you'll be beside me. Someday, someday, someday. Her absence makes the present a little bit unpleasant. But love will make the future okay. So many memories assure me nothing will stand. His kisses can lure me into a net and make me forget the girl I left behind me. Yeah, is constantly before me. Yes. Perhaps you'll be beside me someday. Yeah. Oh, the girl I left behind me. Oh, it's constantly before me. Oh, perhaps you'll be beside me someday, some of these days. Yeah.
Fats Waller in his zenith. It's marvellous stuff. And yes, he made many excellent recordings in the 30s with his rhythm, Fats Waller and his rhythm, and that is no exception.
Didn't sort of make any bad recordings.
No, he just couldn't. I don't think he could. I don't think it's possible for Fats Waller to make a bad record because he's just sort of...
Came naturally to.
I just think he's doing it all the time.
That's right.
I think every domain of life, he's sort of doing what he does
That's it.
naturally, and it's just someone switches on a mic, drops the cutter, and there we have another good Fats Waller recording.
It's easy to forget what a good organist he was.
Yeah,
As well as
I know.
he does so much on the piano.
I know.
He played great jazz organ.
He certainly did, and he's got a. I mean, jazz organ's not that. I mean, or any organ's not that easy because you can only sustain as long as your fingers are on the keys.
Oh, that's right. I was listening to someone play some Jimmy Smith at the U3A.
Oh yes.
And Jimmy Smith's pretty good.
Okay.
But it didn't really have quite the same jazz swing, you know. That,
yeah.
To me.
It's imbued with...
obviously, Fats' personality.
It's the personality. Everything's imbued with his character and his humour and his just irreverence.
All of that.
It's all of that. It's just omnipresent. It's just marvellous. It's like an injection of life hearing his records. It's good stuff. Well, anyhow, look, I'll have to wind it for now because I've got to go inside, but I thought I'll finish with something a bit special. This is a home recording. It was a recording made a couple of days ago, and Beatrice gave me permission to play it.
Good.
And she's singing with her. It's a jazz guitarist, but he's not playing jazz here. He's just accompanying her, but she's singing the Eva Cassidy song, Tennessee Waltz. So she's giving it her best, and I think, if you don't mind me saying, I think it's sort of comes through quite well. So we'll give B a Guernsey, and I'm thankful to her that she's allowed me to play this because it's a proud moment. All right, so we'll look forward to tomorrow. Back on board tomorrow, normal time, same place, same station, all of that.
Should be fine.
Yep. So thanks, listeners. Thank you for tuning in, being a part of the experience. And
good evening to the listener.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And many thanks. And we'll look forward to tomorrow and whatever. And thanks a lot, Frank. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you, Steve. VK3JR going to listening.
Okay, and VK3SL saying cheerio, and we'll finish up with Beatrice singing the Tennessee Waltz. This is from a rehearsal recorded a day or two ago. I need to switch this up and switch this on. I'll do this properly. We'll go back to the start.